Hi, I'm Lisa Mcree with the Skinny for Everyday Health, and today I'm going to make a simple supper that's become a favorite for my single friends, especially those who really want a home-cooked meal but are too busy to actually make one. It's skinny sesame salmon with ginger garlic greens and shiitake mushrooms. It is easy, it is satisfying, and it's loaded with flavor, but not with calories. You're going to start with a 4-ounce piece of salmon, and the seasoning of the salmon just couldn't be easier. You're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, but what's going to add that really great Asian flavor is a ½ teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. See that rich dark color? That's the toasted sesame oil, not the plain sesame oil. World of difference. Then you're also going to add a ½ teaspoon of chopped up fresh ginger. You can use your microplaner or a knife. And then you're just going to take those two ingredients and rub the salmon really well. You want to try to massage as much of that flavor into that flesh as you possibly can. And then you're going to take a little bit of sesame seed. I like to use black sesame seeds because they're dramatic. But if you don't have them, it's okay. You can use regular sesame seeds. But I like the extra bit of crunch they add. Okay, that's done. I'm going to set that aside and let those flavors really get to know each other and move on to my shiitake mushrooms. But first, I want to turn on the stove. I'm using a nonstick pan for ease of cleanup, but I'm also going to give it a spray of oil. Now, you don't want the oil to heat up too long or it'll burn. Just 20 or 30 seconds will do. It gives me enough time to chop up this last mushroom. Now, these are shiitake mushrooms, which are Asian in origin, but they're widely grown in the United States. You can get them in almost every supermarket now. I love these big plump ones. I don't see them very often, but if you can find them, get them. You're just gonna chop them up. Okay, these are ready to go into the pan. And I'm going to add just a little salt. And then I am going to order you to not touch them for a few minutes. I know it's hard, but don't. You want them to get a little bit of color, and they really need to sit in that hot oil without being disturbed for a few minutes, which gives me a chance to tell you about the magic of mushrooms. Mushrooms have something called glutamic acid, which is the same compound found in MSG. It gives mushrooms that umami quality and makes them a really effective meat substitute. In fact, there was a study in the last few years that found that the subjects who ate less meat and more mushrooms ended up having the same feeling of fullness, but lost more weight. And I am a fan of any veg that can help you do that. Now you can give them a little stir. See, they're starting to brown a little bit. Okay, mushrooms are taking on a little bit of color, and you're just going to add a couple of seasonings, which will really make them delicious. You're going to use a little fresh chopped ginger again and a little garlic. It is entirely up to you. I like both, so I'm adding a tablespoon or so of both. Let those flavors really coat those yummy mushrooms. And now let's toss in your greens. I am using spinach today, which is a really tender green. But I've used kale, I've used chard, I've used bok choy. You can use any green you like. All you're going to do is adjust your cooking technique just a little bit according to how tough your greens are. Again, spinach, really tender. It's going to release its juice and look at it, already wilting, just seconds in the pan. But if you're using kale or chard, something that's a little tougher, you're going to use a little bit of chicken broth instead of extra oil so that you can give those greens a little extra cooking time because they're really going to need it. Now these greens are going to continue to wilt. So I'm going to go ahead and plate them now before they get too soft. And I'm putting them right on the plate I intend to eat them from because, as I might have mentioned, I really hate cleaning up. And if I can put them right here and then cook my salmon in the same pan, it's going to be a huge time saver. So there goes my pan back to the heat. And then I'm going to pick up that delicious salmon that we've marinated. Now, this salmon has skin on one side, and I'm going to put that skin down first. Hear that sizzle? The skin's going to start releasing some oil, so you don't need to add any more oil to the pan. And it's going to get nice and crisp. It's going to take about 4 minutes on each side for that salmon to get nice and done. So I want to tell you a couple of things about salmon while it's cooking. You know, we like to use wild salmon at our house. I know that it has fewer pollutants, no added antibiotics, no added dyes, but it also has fewer calories than farmed salmon. In fact, in a 4-ounce piece of farmed salmon, there's 230 calories, but the same size piece of wild salmon, just 160 calories. And each one of those little slices has 22 grams of protein. That is about half of the protein an average woman needs in an entire day. Talk about a little powerhouse. Okay, it's been about 4 minutes on that side. I'm gonna flip it over and turn it on the other side. And you know, you can keep an eye on how well your fish is cooking by just looking at the side. It's gonna get more and more opaque as the heat moves through the flesh. Some people like it really well done. Some people like it less well done. It's all up to you. Now that I've flipped it, it'll take another 4 minutes or so on that side, so I want to get my garnish ready. I'm using just some salted peanuts. Now you're only going to use a few. Peanuts are just loaded with calories. But this is one of those little touches that makes a skinny and healthy meal feel downright decadent. You can also play with your food. You don't like peanuts? Try cashews. You could even put sunflower seeds on it, whatever you've got. You're literally going to use just about a teaspoon. Very good. All right, this is looking done. If you like, you can sear the edges. You don't have to. Nice crust. I'm going to put it right on that serving plate. And I have some fresh lemon juice, because fresh lemon on spinach, always a good idea. On salmon, always a good idea. So do both. And then add, again, just a pinch of those great little chopped peanuts to the top. Just a little bit, though, is going to give you that great saltiness. An extra little crunchy surprise. You could add some soy sauce if you like soy. You could add a little rice wine vinegar. How about some red pepper flakes for a little extra kick? It's your dinner. Do what you want. So that's it. Skinny sesame salmon with ginger, garlic greens, and shiitake mushrooms. It is so nutritious, so full of flavor, and so light in calories. If you like what you see, then like us, hit that button, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll send you an update when we have new videos posted.